Guys, I don't know where to begin. This has been the worst Chelsea performance I've seen in a very long time. Like, we're going to talk about some of the players, some of the player rankings, but a huge part of this game was due to Maresca. So we're going to dive into that as well. Obviously, losing against Bayern Munich earlier this week, Champions League, right? Hold our hands up. We wanted to do something special, but again, we didn't expect it. We still have a very young squad. All right. But against Manchester United, I don't think anybody expected the game to go how it did against Manchester United. This has been one of the worst Manchester United teams that we've seen for a very long time, right? Every year that you think, every season you think it can't get worse. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. Manchester United just show you. And again, same as this season, I expected, to be honest, I expected Manchester United to do quite well with some of the purchases that they did. But how they started off this season, scoring only one goal from open play with Embuemo, right, before they came into the Chelsea game, I didn't expect much from them. I did not expect much from them at all. But again, Maresca just wants to one up Amarim, right? One up Amarim. It was horrible, horrible. Such a bad game. Like when we look at some of the plays, when we look at some of the lineups, even before the game, earlier that morning, I posted as saying I want to see a change in our defense. From the Bayern Munich game, obviously our defense is our weakest link by far. We need to have Cucurella on the left. We need to have Reece James on the right. And then the only player that we really have available that I want to be matched with Chalobah, because out of Tosin and Chalobah, I prefer Chalobah, is Fofana. Right? I think Fofana will be a good player. And from what I saw in the game against Manchester United, I didn't think Fofana did bad at all. But again, it just shows certain players aren't up to the levels that we need them to be. And Maresca isn't is just clueless, isn't making the right substitutions, and he keeps sticking to the way he likes to play. That tiki taka from the back, passing build up play. But sometimes when you play certain teams, when stuff happens in a game, you need to adapt. I feel like Maresca is very, we saw that at glimpses last season, he's very difficult to adapt in real time what happens during the game. Right? Now let's jump into the actual stats of the game, because I like to look at some of the stats, what we actually did in the game, how many shots we took, how much the possession was for Chelsea, how many tackles, how many chances we created as well, and then look into some of the player rankings as well. Amazing. So let's have a look. Obviously, 2-1 Chelsea. Obviously, we can see the goals when they scored. Fernandes 14th, Casemiro 37th, Chalobah 80th, and then obviously the red card. Sanchez 5th, Casemiro 45. Now, again, I want to say Sanchez is not the best keeper that we have. We know this. We know this. And Maresca knows this. He's played with Sanchez all last season, but still he puts trust in Sanchez. So again, we have to stick with Sanchez. But he's not the best keeper that's out there, right? But Maresca trusts him because he prefers Sanchez in the way that he plays. I don't like the way Maresca plays. I'm just going to say that out, guys. I do not like the way Maresca plays. I've said this many videos before, many times before. It's not the best way that we play. It's not. We don't play as dangerous as we can be. We don't play as attacking as we can be. It's all from the back, and we don't have the players defensively to build it up from the back to feed it to make good attacks. Right now, the Sanchez red card again. Sanchez makes a mistake. It's a horrible mistake. He should have never done that. Fofana was there. I feel like Caicedo was there, even running with him as well. Sanchez should have never dived in like that. He should have never made that tackle on Mbemo. But he did. He did. So now we go carry on and play with it. And that's why we look at Maresca. And then Maresca makes substitutions. He takes off Esteval. And then he takes off Neto. It's like, okay, what's happening here? Again, really trying to stick to his system, really trying to stick to his way of playing. So then we have three defenders, Fofana, Chalobah, and Tosin, who I think Tosin isn't my preferred centre back. He's a decent centre back, but not my preferred centre back. And even leading up to that tackle that Sanchez had to make, Chalobah missed the header against Sesko, just showing that Chalobah as well is not that level, right? Is not that level. But then how we react is where we make mistakes, and especially Maresca this game, very big mistake. Now again, we can see that we had 59% possession of the ball, 41% for Manchester United throughout the game. Most of the times when we see this, we don't have a lot of shots, but we have a lot of chances created, but then still not a lot of goals. This time, we barely had any chances created. And a huge part of this, in my opinion, was because of Maresca. Again, Maresca making those substitutions so early on in the game is what killed us. Is what killed us, right? Because when you generally play 11 against 10, we still had a big chance to win that game, win the game, right? Like I said already, huge part of that mistake is because of Sanchez. Because we can still come back from a 1-0 with 11 against 11. 100%. But again, Sanchez made a mistake, so we have to recover in real time. We have to adapt. And there were a lot of little mistakes that I did not like from Maresca. I'll start with the first one. Obviously, Esteval being substituted immediately. Fair enough, we want to take out one attacker. If Esteval's the one that you go for, Esteval's the one that you go for. At least we have to take out one. But then a minute later, you take out another attacker, Pedro Neto, who you know is one of the best players that Chelsea have in the squad right now. Not in terms of technical ability or ability overall, but in terms of work rate. Right? He works for this Chelsea team. Without Pedro Neto on the right hand side or wherever on the left hand side where he plays during the game, the balls go through there. The attacks glide through Pedro Neto because he keeps working. He keeps working. And then again, you sub off Esteval first, then you sub off Neto, and you keep on Palmer. But then after the game, you say Palmer had a little niggle and he wanted to try. And so if you know Palmer is 50-50 anyways, why don't you take out Palmer? Again, these are the questions that are coming up in my mind right now because I don't understand how Maresca likes to play. I don't understand how he likes to play. If you know Palmer is 50-50, we've got a red card, why don't you take up Palmer? I know the type of player that Palmer is, but if he's 50-50, the player that you want to take out then is Palmer. Because now you took out Esteval, you took out Neto, and then 15 minutes later you have to still take out Palmer because Palmer says, "Yeah, sorry, Gaffer, it's not cutting it. It's not cutting it." Like again, these are the type of things that I now that we as Chelsea fans need to ask Maresca, like, what's going on here? What's going on? You bring on 5 defenders, right? You bring on 5 defenders, and then at that time, when we made the substitutes to go with a 5 back, right? 3 central defenders, Manchester United had not even scored yet. So again, in my mind, it's still 0-0. Why are we bringing on an extra defender to do what? You've just taken off an attacker, but now you want to bring on an extra defender. Manchester United have not scored yet. Again, if Manchester United were battering us, again, I'm just going through the thought process. If Manchester United were battering us and it was 3-0, 2-0 already at that stage, then bring on another defender. But it's still 0-0. You've already taken off another attacker, 2 attackers, and you brought on a defender. Like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Right? I am happy. I'm gonna say I am happy that we started off with a defense. Kukurea on the left, Chalobah, Fofana, and Reece James. But again, Maresca needs to do better now in these games, because I don't think Bayern Munich was a blip. And even before Bayern Munich, we had Brentford, which we should have beaten easily. And partially that, again, was because of Maresca. But having the back line there, the way we're playing is just not going to work. A couple of days now, we're going to play another game. I don't expect anything special unless Maresca likes to adapt the type and the way we want to play. Otherwise, this season is going to be a struggle again, a big challenge, because the players that we have are good players, decent players. But if Maresca likes to play this tiki-taka from the back, we just don't have the players. It's boring, it's not attacking. We keep the ball, but we don't do nothing with it. Right? Let's take a look at actually some of the player rankings from yesterday. So looking at the squad right here, so we've got Neto, Esteval, and Sanchez. They don't even have a rating. They barely play any minutes, so they don't even have a rating. Again, Sanchez, in my opinion, if we're going to be a serious Chelsea team, if we want to win something, we can never do that with Sanchez anyways. So I'm not really going to get into that too much. But backline, Kukurea, 5.7. Again, Kukurea is one of the best left backs in the league. But with Maresca, he is underappreciated. The way Kukurea likes to play is not the way Maresca wants our team to be playing. Chalobah I've said enough about Chalobah. A decent Premier League defender. Again, I feel like he was not the best defender in the game against Manchester United. Fofana had a good spell. He needs to be brought into it a lot more. But from what I've seen, I liked him. I like that physicality. I like that hunger. I like the push. Right. I like the drive that Fofana was bringing there as well. We just need a better centre back pairing with him. That's what we need. Reece James on the right hand side. We know what Reece can do. One of the best in the world in terms of right backs. This game, for me, underperformed. I'm just going to say it, guys, underperformed. I did not think he was good whatsoever. 7.2 saved him just because of the assist. Otherwise, he would have had the same as Cucurella. Honestly. Right? Then Caicedo. Caicedo is just a gem in the middle. Then we have Enzo Fernandez. Now, I'm I want to have a minute with you guys about Enzo Fernandez because Enzo Fernandez, for me, this season has not been it. I expected it to be a lot more. I expected him to do a lot more with his capabilities, with the price tag as well. I feel like Palmer has delivered. Yes, he's now in and out because of some injuries. Neto is really finding his feet, and for me, he solidified his spot in the Chelsea team, not because of ability, but because of his character and his drive and his performances that he has in the games. But Enzo Fernandez, not so much. I'll say this again. For me, if you drop out Enzo Fernandez out of that midfield and bring in Santos, who for me is a diamond in the rough. Santos had an amazing game against Manchester United. Right, coming on into that midfield, knowing that it's going to be difficult. The weather conditions were horrible. It's Manchester United who are now smelling blood. Obviously, we've conceded that red card very, very early on in the game. Two of our attackers are gone anyways. So all we're doing is trying to keep the ball and stopping damage. That's all we're doing right now. Because again, in our attack, we don't really have much. Santos being brought in then, he worked very, very well. I really like him next to Caicedo. And he's doing that role that we expect Enzo to do. But Enzo did not perform well at all. He didn't perform well against Brentford. He didn't perform well against Fulham. He didn't perform well against Crystal Palace. West Ham, again, he gets some assists, and do you know what I mean? But other than that, his actual gameplay, if you watch the way he plays, I expect so much more from him. So much more from him. And for me, if I'm Maresca now, I want to see Andres Santos being pushed up in that position instead of Fernandez. Because I get that Fernandez is this world class player with Argentina. I get that we bought him for so much money. But if he's not delivering on a big stage, week in and week out, as we expect, like with Caicedo, bring in Santos, someone that does the job, someone that does work hard for the team and really drives from the midfield, right? Because again, Fernandez is up and down, up and down. One moment, first 20 minutes, maybe it's yes. Last 20 minutes is no. Middle 30 minutes is no again. So it's up and down, up and down. All right. Then Palmer 5.8. I get why Palmer wanted to start. It's Manchester United. It's a big game. He wants to perform well. He wants to do well for the team. But if you're 50-50, Maresca, you know this. Take up Palmer, please. João Pedro, again, a bit underwhelming, but there wasn't much that he could do. There was not much that he could do at all. Again, it was 1-3, because when we look at how Manchester United played, and in my opinion, they bullied him. They bullied him very, very well. Maguire was there, De Ligt was there, and these are big boys, right? Compared to João Pedro, how his physique is, that Maguire will bully him, De Ligt will bully him, right? And then Shaw is the left centre back. They all bully him. In these type of games, we need a Delap type of player. We need a Delap type of player to then bully their centre backs as well, right? Because what we know from Delap, and hopefully his recovery is going well, but what we know from Delap, he is like that Diego Costa. He is like that DJ Drogba, right? Type of player. What we've seen from our previous seasons with Diego Costa, they used to bully centre backs. As soon as they hit the league, everybody was a bit unsure about Diego Costa. But after the first couple of games, they know he's here. He's here, and he was to be feared as well. Same as DJ Drogba, a legend of the Premier League and a legend within Chelsea. So we know that with Delap, so in these type of games, we're really missing Delap's presence. And we don't really have anybody from that stature or that physique that can hold up the ball the way the lap does, like Diego Costa, Didier Drogba, and bully those centre backs, right? Really make it difficult for Maguire, make it difficult for De Ligt. Overall, I like the lineup, but again, Maresca needs to manage it better in game. He can manage it on the training ground, he can manage it before and after the game, but if he doesn't do the right stuff during the game, it doesn't help. It doesn't help one bit. The substitutions that he made, not good enough. The plays that he selected, in my opinion, Fernandes was the only one that looks a bit shaky, but not good enough. Now, I don't think our next games are going to be better. I don't think they're going to be more dangerous, but we need something to change. I know Maresca is very stubborn as a manager, but again, we need something to change. The way we play, maybe even the plays that he lines up, but we need to be more dangerous in games because we've lost a lot of points from the teams that we should have beaten easily. When we look at the games against Brentford, when we look at the games against Crystal Palace, certain teams, if you're competing for the league, if you're competing for the Champions League position again, those games are easy, right? When we look at Liverpool, I expect them to play a lot better, but they're still getting the win. They're still unbeaten in the league. They're grinding out these wins, and that's what champions do. That's what good and high-level teams do. So again, something needs to change. I don't know what it's going to be. Please let me know. Let me know your thoughts. How do you think we can improve as a Chelsea team? Is it bringing in new players? Is it bringing in a new coach? Do you think Maresca needs to leave? Or do you think Maresca just needs to adapt better based on his circumstances? Let me know. Also, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like, subscribe to see more content on the Chelsea games and fixtures. Peace.